Wouldn't say cunt or something like that.
I wouldn't.
Right at the 1 second.
I was gonna say, like, right at the line.
Well, that was fun.
No, my struggle right now is that I literally need 4 inches.
Well, I can give you
I've only
6.
got 2, so.
Yeah. Hey! Well, no, but like, so this right here, that's the couch. I bought a 2x4 Kallax, the cube shelving unit, and it's 4 inches too wide to fit between that point of the desk and the couch. But if I do it, then I can put like books and models and all sorts of stuff behind me, and it'll look cool. Anyways,
I agree.
I've been wanting to yammer on about this all night.
Oh, there's my coffee. You guys, I don't know if you. I've been in bed for the last 12 hours. Not like feeling my best, but I got coffee.
Is it rewarmed coffee?
No, this time it's like actually fresh coffee. It's strawberries and cream, and I don't have any good creamer, so I did my usual thing of putting hot chocolate in there, so it's chocolate, strawberries, and cream.
I mean, minus the coffee part, I totally approve.
Strawberries and coffee?
Strawberries and cream. It's actually really good. You wouldn't think it, but it's the only brand that I feel comfy ordering flavored coffees from, because the flavors are really good without like being too sweet, you know, or too sugary or anything like that.
But they are coffee.
Yeah, it's caffeine. I'm a caffeine. I need caffeine.
Didn't say caffeine. I said I used to wash windows, and we had the contract for Starbucks at the time, and I hated doing Starbucks.
Oh, that's fair.
I cannot stand the smell of coffee.
Oh, our upholsterer's like that. He can't stand the smell of coffee either. That's really weird.
Blasphemer.
Yeah, I don't know. He will often, oh God, how do you pronounce it? It's a can of chocolates, like a dark chocolate out of, I think, Sweden, and but they've got like 200 milligrams of caffeine per piece, and you get them in little tins, and then you can like Steve does that, so I think that's what he does. Oh my goodness. I'm going to kill this cat. I swear to God, I'm going to kill this cat. All right, I need to get my pattern so I can start stitching.
That's okay. Kim's been letting the stray into the house periodically, and he just kind of like explores a little bit and then just starts meowing everywhere.
Yeah.
It's like, just what are you doing?
Just what are you doing? And for the love of God, would you please shut up?
It's like... And then I stand up and he like runs right back outside.
Yeah. Scaredy cats. Strays are really scaredy cats sometimes. I think it's a survival thing.
I mean, that would make sense.
Yeah. I got the rest of my colors, so now I can actually progress down into this area down here, because I didn't have the colors I needed. Now I have them, or at least most of them. But yeah. D&D on Friday kind of semi got canceled. Steve wasn't feeling good and didn't come, so we ended up rolling up characters. and then just kind of talking, just sort of hanging out. We didn't really play.
Why are you starting another new campaign?
It's not a new campaign. It's the same. They're just changing characters.
Oh, okay.
Two of them are. The other two are not. Well, one of them is Lucius, which is the character from that video.
Ah, yes, the classless
Tabaxi.
cat person.
She finally picked a class. So the whole thing with Lucius this whole time is that he's like an information broker. That's what we ended up deciding on, because that's kind of how she played him, like sly, kind of sort of James Bondy, but without the action sequences kind of feeling character. And so I was like, okay, she's going to be like a rogue or a bard, or maybe she's going to want to play a spell sword so that she can like use magic and weaponry. Because a lot of people play spell sword the class, but then they just flavor it kind of however they want to flavor it. And she's like, I want to be a cleric. And I'm like, what? So, in fact, Seraphis might know this. What's the name of the deity in Skyrim? In Elder Scrolls, what's the Daedra that is the sort of Cthulian forbidden knowledge entity?
Harmonious Mora.
That one. She's decided that she's going to be a cleric of like my world's version of that. And she's an information broker. It is wild. Like, you're so used to thinking of like, as soon as you say cleric, I have like an image in my head already. And she's playing a cleric class, but she's doing it totally differently to what I pictured, and it's really fascinating to see.
Tori.
Well,
Tori, is your player playing a cleric to Harmonious Moya while being the Shadow Broker?
Basically.
That's awesome.
It is pure awesome. My jaw hit the floor.
I am missing something because I don't understand all those terms. But before you all explain it to me, the idea of a cleric also being an information broker is kind of interesting, because as a priestly class, he's going to hear things, or she, or whatever.
It's just really makes you examine when people come up with stuff like this. It really makes you examine the class and separating the class mechanics, because all it says, if you pull up the description and read the description, all it says is a cleric gets their power from another source. Well, it says deity. So, because when you think about it, the only thing that separates a cleric from a warlock is just the nature of the entity they get their powers from, because the cleric is typically a worshipped entity, aka a deity, and warlocks are usually more of like a fiendish, dark, or non-religious entity, right? I guess that would probably be the main difference. But where she decided to take that was just like, So we had to invent a new deity on the spot because one didn't exist yet. But I figured it would make sense that there would be one like that. A sort of deity of forbidden knowledge. In fact, I think the books. There's a lit RPG book series out there where he becomes a deity of the hidden god. She just set off the printer again.
Look, she has important documents to produce.
Apparently. Are you quite finished? No?
We're just getting started, actually.
Yes.
That's what she's thinking.
Hey! I should go away.
Nah. It's what? Hey, whoa, what? Oh.
What?
We lost it. Can you hear the printer in the background?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my god. I'm sorry, guys.
It's probably like probably something that's going to get notarized and get Tori in trouble.
Yeah, I like go over there just to yell at my cat to stop, and it's like government secrets or something. It's just like, Frank. She's actually the new Frank the Pug.
Actually, speaking of, I kid you not, the number of times that I have answered the phone at work, managed services, my name is Brian, can I get your customer number? Sure, Frank. What? How did you get Frank out of this?
That's I've had people mess up my name all the time, but they usually mess it up like they call me Dory instead of Tori.
Dory, Tara, it's something mildly relating.
I've never gotten Tara. Like, they don't even make it that far. Like, it's always something that ends in it, like Tori, Corey, Dory. Like that's the only one I've ever heard. And the funny part is I never bother to correct them. They just keep calling me whatever it is, and I'm just like, sure, yeah, okay, whatever.
I do the exact same thing, but again, Dory, Corey, Maury, whatever, they at least kind of sound like your name.
Yeah, they do.
Frank.
I'm resisting the urge to start naming dwarfs, just so you know.
Healy. Let's see. Balin.
Keely.
Yeah.
Oin, Gloin.
Oh, I forgot about those two. Is it Healy and
Umba.
Keely or something?
Yep.
Something. There's a double syllable one too. Something and Baffer. I'm like, it's the scene is playing in my head, but I can't like regurgitate the names.
Biffer Bomber.
Biffer Bomber.
Yes, that guy.
Dwalin, Barlin.
Healy.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Feely, Killy.
Oh, okay.
Biffer, Bomber. Gloin, Oin. There's another cousin there. I'm trying to remember. Because the three of them are cousins. Oh,
hey, that looks better.
Look
at that.
You know, somehow, Rusty Knight, you look kind of more cyberpunk like that.
Yeah, maybe.
Are you quite finished?
We forgot to suggest topics this week.
We did.
I suggested topics.
Yeah, and I've got one of yours. Since you're decided to grace us with your presence this week, we can actually do one of yours.
That makes sense.
Rock and roll.
Such a classy group.
Hey, if you guys aren't gonna have topics, bother putting topics in, I'm gonna burp on the microphone. Besides, I actively say cunt every couple of minutes. How are you talking about class here?
You're Australian. It doesn't count. You and your made-up languages.
Hey, I'm bloody speaking the Queen's English, you can't.
Well, I mean, as a make-believe person would, yes.
You're what, you bloody muppet? I love British.
So I'm technically still at work. I'm just on lunch. I am wondering how long I can go before getting a call or a chat.
Does anyone know you're doing this?
Again, I am on lunch. What I do on that time is up to me. If I disappear and mute my microphone, you know why.
Wait, you're on lunch at, is it 6 a.m. where you are?
Yes.
That's a weird lunchtime.
Well, I mean, I started working at 8 p.m.
Oh, geez.
Let's just say that so far this year, 47% of my income has been from overtime.
Wow. Are y'all hiring?
No. No, we are not.
They seem to mostly be doing the opposite, in fact.
Oh my gosh. So annoying. Like part of the reason that I have so much overtime available is my shift is down a person.
So y'all
So
need to
there's-
hire.
Let me finish my story. My shift is down a person. Second shift is down a person. First shift, I think, is down, 2 people. And they took 5 people across first and second shift and sent them to another department for like 3 months because they're backlogged. Months ago, apparently the CEO is just like, oh yeah, if you guys need to hire someone, just submit an exception and we'll approve it. And my boss is like, yeah, we've been doing that for months and they keep denying it. So, anyways, yes, we do need to hire people.
So you need to hire 5 people.
At least. But they won't do it. So, in the meantime, I work 6 days a week. Usually. And and then on top of that, my boss said that I can come in early. So usually I'm clocked in from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m.
Now what you're gonna do?
Ouch.
But on the bright side, I get to talk to someone all day.
Yeah. Seraphis can message me at any time. Because usually
During
when
my
he's
day.
sleeping, I'm sleeping.
Time zones. Now what are you gonna do?
So, but it's why I could go and buy a new desk and a Kallax and have stuff in the Amazon cart to finish my desk upgrade that I've been plotting for months. And Kim didn't care. Okay. Actually, I'm mildly freaked out. I just want to say this. My 22-year-old, the one that just had the kid, him and his wife have over 30 grand in the bank. Just saved.
Huh. That's a new
Yeah.
truck right there.
I wish I was half as responsible as that kid. Well, it's funny because he's like, so because with the way the laws are, technically he's still on my insurance and she's still on her parents' insurance, but now they have the baby, and so what? Bob. Anyways, so they were figuring out what to do for insurance, and so we're going to, because he's got a truck, and so we're going to Costco to get this new desk. And he's like, yeah, so I did this and broke it all down, and at the end of the month we've got like 22 left over. And I'm like, 22 what? Oh, 2,200. What? Go. I'm like, I thought you meant $22 left over after all of your bills and expenses. No. Anyways, yeah, that's my kid.
Wait, is it 22? What? 2,200 or 22,000?
No. He has over 30 grand in the bank. His budget is such that he's got an extra 200 coming in every month. So after all of his expenses, they've got cash.
Nice.
So it's like, go. I'm proud of you. Keep it up.
Right? I gotta figure out where this came from. Where did you come from?
Anyhow, Sorry, I don't remember why that came up, but here we are.
Because it's fun to be proud of kids.
It really is.
I'm not there yet.
And being granddad is almost as cool as being a dad. Almost. Because it's not my kid, but...
Shouldn't that make it better then?
No, it's different.
Yeah.
It's not bad. It's definitely good, but it's different. Like there's something about it being your kid, and you're like, man, that's really cool. And your grandkid, oh, that's really cool, but you've got that step removed. Anyways,
my kids start school next week.
Woohoo!
that's
I'm
always
so
Well,
glad I'm not in school anymore.
In 7 minutes' time this week.
And the oldest will be going, so he'll go 5 days a week, right?
Yep.
Got it. Time
And
to
the
start
girl-
working on number 3.
And have no free time? Are you insane?
I will refer you to the chat.
I hate you. Why would
I
you do
misread where the quotes were.
that was a joke at earlier's expense. Not now.
Yeah, not now.
All right, Rusty Knight, you want to take your topic?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Rusty nut.
What's the topic?
You suggested it.
Well, I suggested
Well,
it.
I suggested 3.
Yeah,
it's
'cause
the
he did his
how-
homework.
how technology has been affecting our gaming hobby. Do you want me to read out exactly what you said?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm trying to scroll back to where it was.
Okay,
Okay, here we go. I found it. Yeah, so, okay. I had brought up the impact of technology on traditional tabletop gaming. Another one. Do you want me to read all 3 of them?
Sure.
The second one I brought up was which system handles combat best, which system handles storytelling best, which one handles magic best, that kind of thing. And then the third topic was the role of player creativity in shaping the story. How do you balance improvisation with planned story arcs to keep the game cohesive? In other words, I know what the story wants to be, but I also want the players to have free agency to do whatever they want to do. So how do you mesh those two things together from point A to point Z?
I have thoughts.
Hold on. Which topic are we covering? Because that was
All
of them.
3 simultaneously.
All 3 simultaneously.
We're in the ultra dimension where all 3 are happening simultaneously, so you
That's
just
true.
gotta deal with it. And
We're
somewhere
in
along the line, we'll do the
non-Euclidean space.
transcendental cha-cha-cha.
And don't forget to drink your coffee and tip your waiter.
And try the veal.
Yeah.
And now that we're off the rails,
When were we on the rails?
There are rails.
I have rails right. Damn it. Right there.
Well, since I'm looking at the bottom of the screen, it says the topic is technology and gaming. I would say the biggest change is that it's making it more possible for people to try things, because you can put out a 5-page PDF. You could just either throw it up on a website, or if you want to try and make a couple of bucks, you can put it on drive-through. The ease of putting something into the marketplace is basically zero.
Availability.
Yeah. Getting people to see it, that's a separate issue. But I'm going to start with that.
Availability and ease of use. See, now I can carry a laptop to a gaming session, have PDFs of all the books already loaded in different tabs if I wanted. So I can have, 3, 5, however many books I need. And then simultaneously I can have music playing on a Bluetooth speaker in a different tab that I can control, from the laptop. And then I can have digital maps. So like I can pull up a map and I can track where everything is on that map. Even if I'm playing in person, I can still track things digitally. Just absolute convenience and ease of use when you think about it. I think the big kicker is where each DM's personal taste and where they draw the line between what's acceptable convenience and what's not. So like I don't mind using PDFs and a Bluetooth speaker, but I don't quite go all the way into the fully loaded Fantasy Grounds VTT where the character sheet auto calculates and no, we still have paper character sheets. We still track all our own stuff. So I think Owlbear is the closest thing into a VTT I get, and really that's just the map. Here's my scissors.
Abrupt ending.
Rusty,
What?
do you want to throw something in here since it was your topic?
Yeah. So I'm cruising through the store yesterday, and I see these new glasses. They're not really new, but they're newish. But I started doing a little research on them, and found another one that is more advanced online. It's through a Kickstarter, but what it is it's glasses that are very similar to mine, like Ray-Ban style. But they've got the built-in cameras in here, right? Well, this other one, this new one that I just researched has this on this lens, like a little view screen, but you control it by moving an attached smart ring. So if you wanted to scroll up or down, you would just kind of rotate the ring, and then there's buttons on said ring to navigate your links and that kind of thing. But it got me to thinking, if we were all playing like a role-playing game, how easy would it be to just connect up through those glasses and just walk around your day-to-day business, but still be able to play at the same time, or whatever else you're going to be doing.
I will admit, I want augmented reality.
Yeah.
I do not want Elon to chip my brain.
Right.
I do not want to plug into the Matrix and, go net surfing that way. But
What, you don't want the metaverse?
No. Because again, I don't want my brain chipped. But the idea of smart goggles, or glasses or something that give me just a little head-up display.
Right. And that's what this is. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
driving.
not goggles. So yeah, you can drive. And now, who knows I don't know exactly how distracting that would ultimately be, but walking around, I think, would be different than driving.
I'm driving, and instead of having to look at my Apple CarPlay for the GPS, it's just all on my glasses.
Right.
And I can go. I'm 1,000% in favor of that. That would be great. I also don't want self-driving cars. I realize they are already here, but I don't want them.
Isn't that another Musk one?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's the one that's getting it done well. There are others that are doing it, but he's getting it and getting it integrated into Teslas. But using it for something like, sitting down at a role-playing session, or if you're all at the same table and, like instead of having miniatures on the table, it's a virtual miniature that then gets broadcast to all the different displays. I would be totally okay with that.
I mean, on the whole, I think we can kind of agree that technology has not necessarily been entirely a detriment to the hobby because, I'm able to play with people across the world from me. I'm able to have big, fancy, fully colored digital maps with fog of war that I can unveil as the players go through it, which would be a nightmare to do without, owlbear. I can get, hundreds, thousands of maps without having to store them in a closet somewhere of any size I want, basically for free. I mean, in general, I think technology has been a big plus to it, but I think we mentioned this last time, but I wonder if there's people out there that are just like not happy with it in the hobby, thinks it shouldn't be in the hobby. And back in my day, we just used our imagination or something like that. I wonder if those folks are out there.
Well,
the only thing that I have against it all is, and I've been quite vocal about this, like take D&D Beyond, for example. I can go in, and I could buy every 5th edition book that they have. I could buy every the what I call 5.5e book that comes out. But if I piss them off just once, they can terminate my account, and I now have spent all of that money and have nothing to show for it. Likewise, if I buy all of these books through whatever VTT there is, and I don't know, maybe the owner decides they're going to go hunting in Africa and they kill an elephant and everybody cancels them, and that forces them then to have to shut their business down. Guess what? Now you don't have access to anything that you've just spent all your money on. And I'm not a fan of buying digital like that per item. Now, if it was a subscription service and I got a la carte access, that would be different. But you're buying something that you will never own. And I'm not a fan of that kind of practice.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, agreed.
I mean, now, given, I will admit, we have not seen an example of that happen yet. But
haven't we, though?
Not that I'm aware of.
Oh, I thought there was some.
I can give some examples, though, not specifically in this hobby, though.
Wait. Hold on. Say that one more time.
I can give examples of that, but not specifically.
What? I missed something. I was looking at a work thing. Sorry.
Okay. Technomancer was saying about how yes. Was saying about how if he lost, say, the digital platform that he was getting, say, his digital books from, like, say, D&D Beyond, if he lost that, then all that money he spent on those materials would be wasted, right?
Right.
So, let's say, I don't know, you live in, say, a made-up country, and you had a really, really, really good company that locally ensured that people had content. And then that company got bought up by, I'm going to call them a cunt, right? I'm going to call this cunt Contumation. And Contumation then gets brought up by Sony Contumation. And now Crunchyroll supposedly provides the same service, except without any of the titles that were previously available in this supposed country.
Right. So here's where I get that. I understand. Oh, I don't want to buy this digital stuff and then I lose access to my digital stuff. Totally understand that. But I'm struggling to understand why that is a problem, but the subscription service where you don't actually own the stuff isn't a problem. Because it sounded like Biomancer was okay with the not owning.
Okay. So what I'll explain is I'll use like World of Warcraft, for example. Okay. That was a subscription service, but I could log in 24/7, play to my heart's desire, have as much entertainment as I want in any given month. For about $15, $16 a month, whatever. With how D&D Beyond works, you're buying the book itself, which is like, $50 a pop. Now, if they come out with, I don't know, let's say, they had 7 books come out last year, was it? So that would be 7 times 50 is $350 versus the 15 times 12 months is $180. So,
I think that the dollar amounts don't really. It's not the dollar amounts. It's the renting versus purchasing. So, for example, if I have a subscription to like Netflix, it is a however much a month subscription to a library of Netflix. They are not selling you, nor do they ever claim or advertise selling you individual purchasable products. It is just, pay us and then we'll open the doors, and then when you don't pay us, we close the doors. It's renting. D&D Beyond is not renting. You don't pay $5 a month and you get all the books. You pay $5 a month to have the permission to share the books, which is just a whole nother level of dumb in and of itself. And then on top of that, you still have to individually purchase the books, and you do individually purchase them, no different than purchasing a PDF, say, off DriveThruRPG. It's this weird area where we're mixing up real ownership, purchasing something versus renting something, and the lines are getting very, very blurred. And you can make the argument that Steam's been doing that for years, which it has, but I think a couple of things. One, I think Steam treats its customers better. In terms of there's just a little bit more, like you can play games. Like I could get another tower if I wanted, download all my games from Steam, disconnect it from the internet, and then play all those games, provided the games themselves were not internet reliant. But I mean, I could, if I was really concerned about Pal World, I could get another tower. Granted, it'd be expensive, but technically, I could get another tower, downworld, Pal World, disconnect that tower from the internet, and never upgrade that tower and play that version of Pal World as long as I want. And even then, Steam lets you backlog versions. Although when legal stuff gets in the way, that might get altered. But like, I have a copy of the Lego Lord of the Rings, which you can't technically purchase anymore. But I can still play mine, even though it's not available for sale.
And exactly on that, I have the old Transformer games, War for Cybertron and Fall of Cybertron games from Steam. After what happened to my hard drive last time, I thought I'd lost those games because those games got taken off because of rights issues. However, they were still in my library, and Steam honored my purchase and still allowed me to download them because I owned those games.
Yeah, so I think Steam is a good example of how that principle works. I
Yep.
think that Wizards, being the way that Wizards is what's making people, because I think that's the idea of how D&D Beyond is supposed to work. Like, that's the idea, but Steam's actually executing on that idea, and Wizards might not.
So real quick, I'm actually gonna I'm gonna come sort of to Wizards' defense, not on 5 point or anything 5.0 and up. Douche. But drive-through RPG is actually the same way. Ah, crap! I gotta go. I'll be back.
Well, it's not, because with Drive-Thru RPG, I can download the PDF, and it's mine forever. It's watermarked, but it's mine.
If you want to get technical, Steam, and I maybe Drive-Thru could do this. I don't know, but on Steam and Drive-Thru, you can download it. You own it. You know, it's yours. You can download it, and then it's independent of the service you bought it from. Like, Drive-Thru RPG and Steam are stores, digital stores, and you buy and you own it. However, there was, and I didn't watch the whole thing, but there was a video that someone released where they were talking about how it's not as safe as we think it is, and that Steam actually has a lot more control, and we don't really own the things we purchase at all. But it's we accept it because Steam just has done a better job of like I said, executing on the idea, but that technically speaking, we still don't really actually own the thing we purchase.
So here's my other argument against digital. I buy it. I can't do anything with it. You know, let's say I'm done with the hobby. I've moved on. I'm blind and I can't read the book anymore, or I can't read the PDF anymore. What do I do? Well, it's just gone. But I have something that I spent, I don't know, this was probably $20 back when I got it. Look up this on eBay right now, and I could probably sell this for $40. You know, it's a physical, tangible thing that I can now get my money back, and then a little bit more. Now, I realize not every book is going to be that way. I mean, if I were to take, this version of it, I don't like this blurred background. Doesn't work. It's making me not be able to get my point across. There. If I take this version of it, I might be able to get $10 for it. But, who knows what it's going to do in 20 years or 30 years.
And I mean, that's not bad for a paperweight, so.
Right? I mean, But the fact that this one goes for so much, even in the condition that it's in, goes for so much on eBay, I mean, I think that there's an investment in some of this as well that you don't get access to when you're buying digital.
Yeah.
True.
Could I go online and get a PDF of that first edition DM's guide? Well, yeah, I could. But it's not worth anything. But the physical book is.
Damn it.
But then that brings up the point of how does print on demands and things like that affect it?
Yeah, I mean, and I do have a couple of print on demand that I got through Drive-Thru RPG. Just to test out, their service, but also too, because I mean, I've got, a little bit of money built up in it from, doing reviews and stuff. And so I get, through affiliate links. And I have seen some of that material even selling on eBay for a stupid amount, because I guess people just aren't aware that you can go on Drive-Thru and do a print on demand. But regardless of that, or if you happen to, I don't know, work in a place that has big production grade copiers and know how to bind books and print stuff. Not saying that anybody should ever do that, but that I'm sure somebody out there has done that.
Likewise, taking back to my point earlier about, companies doing stupid things like removing access to material and then providing it in another country and not providing it in the country
Right.
it used to be provided in, and then having the audacity to chuck a hissy fit because people went sailing.
Yeah. Or I'll do you one better. When you have a platform that does movies and those that are over in this country have access to this group of movies and those over in this country don't. I've never understood that. Oh, well, it's all due to license. I mean, I do understand that. It's all due to licensing. I get that. But, like...
I don't get that. If Sony owns all these anime titles for Crunchyroll,
right,
and they have them in the US, and it's the same license to have them over here, why can't we have them here? You've already got them on Crunchyroll US.
Right.
They used to be
each
available
country
here.
has its own license.
Yeah, no, but what I'm saying is it used to be available here.
I don't know.
Why not renew the license?
I don't know.
Unless the entity that's broadcasting it there just doesn't want to pay whatever fee it is that Sony is demanding.
It's Crunchyroll.
Well, yeah, but also I understand. But what I'm saying is, like in the U.S., I mean, it might be, $500,000 a year for the license. In your country, it might, that might just be too much. That the local company there, the local broadcasting company there, just doesn't want to pay that fee because they're not seeing that return.
Right. Exactly.
No, this is just on the streaming platform.
No, but again, so they have to pay a fee for each country. Okay. And if Australia is not generating enough revenue to justify the fee to have the license for that property, they're not renewing the fee, or they're not paying the fee again. I get what you're saying, but they have the analytics and 10 people in Australia watched this last year. Why are we paying a $10,000 fee for 10 people who paid a collective $100 Australian? Whatever. I'm making up numbers, but
yeah. And I think a part of it too, I think a large part of it has to do with fake fees. Case in point, go take a look at your cell phone bill from, 2001. You were probably paying a long distance fee. Now there is no more long distance. So that proves that was a fictional fake fee that the telephone companies decided to try to put out there to collect more revenue from everybody. Now we have data fees. I predict that in 20 years, data fees will no longer exist. They'll be replaced with something else.
We already don't.
There you go.
Most of our mobile plans have basically come with essentially free calling within the country, up to like 100 gig of data per month. And this is like a $35 plan. And I get like 100 hours of international calls.
Yeah.
For $35. In 2000, when I get my brick. The old Nokia.
Mm-hmm.
Probably say 2000 and 2002 or 2003. And I probably had a bill of $80 to $100 for no data and interstate calls. So yeah.
Before I had to go,
Yep.
did you
You
guys
had a thought?
Right? Did you guys continue on with that thought, or have no clue as to where I was going with that thought?
No,
I
I
mean,
continued it, but I don't remember what I said.
Yeah, same.
Oh, I was just gonna say, Drive Through RPG has which includes the
yeah.
Wizards of the Coast stuff, has that same thing as Steam. Whereas if you've already paid for it, even if they take it off, because like Modifius removed Mutant Chronicles and Conan, and I've got the full collection of both of those, but I can still download them through Drive Through.
Right.
So that's pretty solid. But yeah, I get the point of, you know, losing your access, you know, when it was sold to you as you would be able to keep your access regardless.
Yeah.
Yes,
Like,
and the reason why we were allowed to keep our access when it was Australian owned was because we had bought the physical copy. The digital came free. So we bought it from back then, Madman. And so because we bought it because I bought a lot of my anime through it, I had the digital available to watch at any time through the Madman website and stream. But Crunchyroll didn't honor any of that.
see, and that's what it is. It's the companies not following through. Yeah.
Oh, but do you know what the best part was? In order to have my Madman / Funimation account be brought over to be a Crunchyroll account, I had to agree to a terms of service that allowed them to get rid of my library.
Ouch.
Yep. Hence, Crunchyroll.
Well, there you go. I mean, that's you know, that's why I'm not a big fan of buying digital.
It's funny because every time you say digital, I have to remind myself that you're not referring to PDFs, because PDFs are digital, and 99% of the hobby has no problem with PDFs and uses them regularly.
Well,
I mean, if I could buy something on D&D Beyond, download it as a PDF, which, I mean, yes, I know that there are workarounds. There's plugins that you can, you know, convert the web page into a PDF.
You shouldn't have to plug in it.
Right. You shouldn't have to have a plug-in. It should just be, here you go. You just bought this. Here's a link. Download it. Likewise, you know, if I'm going to buy, I don't know, the latest Top Gun movie off of Netflix, you know, if they went to that kind of a format, I should be able to download that VOD file to be able to play it at any point that I want to without having to link into their service to verify that it's a verified purchase. I just should be able to have it. I get why they're doing this, because they're trying to prevent piracy and copyright issues. I get that, but
It's just too draconian.
Money. Yeah, I'm not going to give money for something that I'm not going to be able to own.
Yeah,
so I've got a quick question on that. Do you guys have Blu-rays?
No, we have no Blu-rays here.
Okay.
It's not a thing. Whatever you do in made-up land, jeez.
Do you need to have your Blu-ray player hooked up to the internet?
No.
No.
Okay, interesting. We do. because every time I put in a Blu-ray, it needs to verify before it allows me to play it. And if I don't have it hooked up to the internet, it'll say that there's an error and it won't play my Blu-rays.
I bet you anything that's an Aussie copyright law.
Yeah.
That's that's
I
stupid.
have looked into that. I cannot find whereabouts that law comes from, if it is. However, I do know, or I do have a suspicion of how it got in there, which is because of Game of Thrones.
Sure.
Do you know which country was pirated Game of Thrones the most?
I'm going to guess Australia.
Yes. The piracy rate in Australia was like 80% higher than the next country, supposedly, according to metrics. And I wouldn't be surprised if discs have that hidden feature, basically punishing us for pirating stuff rather than.
Well, that may have been the impetus for it. But anyways, it would not surprise me if it was just an Australian law.
It seems to me that something like that would drive people to sail the seas, as it were.
I heard someone once say that you can never get rid of pirating. All you can do is just make your purchasing your product easier and more convenient, and you will.
Yeah, it's and there's a very famous quote, and I'm going to butcher it because I don't know it word for word, but it's basically piracy has never been about pricing. It's been about the customer service provided through the company that has that product. And, when you have a good product, but the company behind it pisses enough people off, guess what?
Mm-hmm.
If I go out and purchase your Blu-ray, but I can't watch it if I don't have internet access, of course, I guess I'm about to shoot my own foot, because how would I, pirate it if I didn't have internet access? Never mind.
Well,
I'm going to
go
shut
to
up
a
and drink
pencil.
coffee.
Well, no, Brian. That's not necessary, because I bought it. I bought the. I bought what I thought was a legitimate Blu-ray. I didn't know.
No, I'm talking about specifically downloading like a VOD file or something.
I'm trying to say there are ways to pirate it without an internet connection.
Right.
Somebody has an internet connection, just not you.
Right.
As I say, a guy I work with doesn't have internet. He just every once in a while he brings his laptop to the shop, stays after work, and uses the shop's internet.
Anyways, I was going to make a point. You know what?
As I say, every other time I've spoken, everyone goes all quiet afterwards. I'm like checking the screen, like, did I do something wrong? I'm sorry.
Let me leave this.
To Crunchy Mancer's point from before, okay, Tory Mancer. I was going to say it would be stupid if it was basically a reaction to piracy, because they did the same thing with DVDs back in the day, putting a non-skippable anti-piracy ad.
Right.
And that drove people to pirate the stuff instead.
Yeah. Oh, we had the same thing here. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that. The music
wasn't as ridiculous though.
The music is still playing in my head.
You wouldn't steal a car.
Yeah. Yep.
Someone's watched the IT Crowd.
What?
Actually, the
What?
IT. Oh, have you ever watched the IT Crowd?
No.
Oh, they
That
did
legit, No, that was legit. We had the
No,
same British
no,
piracy ad.
Can I finish?
No.
They did a parody of that. They're starting like the two main guys. They're starting to watch a movie, and it's just going through this you wouldn't steal a car, you wouldn't steal something, you wouldn't steal a policeman's hat, and you wouldn't then take his hat and take a dump in it, and then blah, 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 and then put the hat back on his, and it went just this whole ridiculous sequence. And then at the end they're like, man, these anti-piracy warnings.
Oh, that's because that's how it's felt. That's what makes it funny. Because that's how it felt. Because we had the same one, and as soon as Seraphis said that, the music started playing in my head. Exactly.
I don't
because
remember
I've seen
us
it
having it. They put the little FBI warning up, but it just
oh no, the one he mentioned where it plays the heavy music and then it goes, you wouldn't steal a car, and then it's like do, and then you hear the sound of a car alarm, and it's like, you wouldn't steal this, and then there's some more, and it's a shot of someone with their hood up walking by a folded table of DVDs in a shady alley, and they're looking at these DVD boxes in a shady alley, and the heavy music's still playing. I've seen that a million times.
Actually, what's really funny, in Brazil, number one, they will just pirate the crap out of everything. And then number two, they will just on the streets. It's actually kind of funny. You could go and you could buy a cassette of your favorite band, but it's instead of the full album, it's a minute of each song. Because the cassettes were even cheaper. So, anyways, I thought that was funny.
Yeah. It's still playing in my head. Curse you, Seraphis. That stupid music isn't going to leave my head until I replace it with something else.
Oh, that's no.
Yeah, yep. That's the exact one. Yeah, and then the car alarm starts, and then I forgot about the handbag, but yep.
I don't remember that at all.
Oh yeah.
The movie is new. Yep. I remember every single shot of that except for the one in the video store.
Don't remember that one at all.
If my mom hadn't gotten rid of all of her DVDs, I could probably still pull it up because it's on all those DVDs.
I still have all mine, so I still regularly have to deal with that shit.
Yeah, we're gonna
yes, I have to.
We're gonna be doing some house rearranging, some major rearranges, and then when that's all finished, I'm hoping to have some extra space, and then Steve's folks might be getting rid of a lot of their DVDs and Blu-rays, and we're gonna go through them and pick out the ones we want. It'll be great. We'll have a whole collection. Well, and then things so right now, my thing that I do when I'm stitching in the living room is watching the cast commentary of all the Lord of the Rings films, because even though we have digital versions, we have them on whatever they call it now, but Vudu. Okay, fine, string. The commentaries aren't on there, so even though I could stream the film, I can't watch the whole film just listening to them chit chat about it, which for me is kind of like the equivalent of listening to a podcast.
Yeah, right. That's another annoying thing. It's okay, I can buy the digital, and it costs the same as buying a Blu-ray, but none of the extra fun stuff.
Yeah. I remember in the heyday of DVDs and I guess kind of Blu-rays, but we're not really in the heyday of Blu-rays anymore. But like commentaries were like my favorite thing was to like pick a random movie and see if there was a cast commentary on it.
So
just-
there was a movie that came out in the 80s. Christian Slater was in it, called Pump Up the Volume. And you cannot find, I wanted to show my kids this. It's not streaming anywhere. It just doesn't stream anywhere. So what are your options? You know, I ultimately ended up going online and buying it off of Amazon, but you know, the only other option is to find it as a VOD file and pirate it. And, you know, I mean, for those of us that are not into that kind of practice, you know, when there's something like that, that movie was fairly influential to me at that point in my life. And I just wanted to show the kids this because honestly, it's because of that movie that I really ultimately sunk into and embraced doing these YouTube, you know, channels. And, you know, I wanted to share that experience with my kids, but, you know, for about 2 years, it just never even occurred to me to go try to find a copy of it. I just kept looking for it to show up on streaming. And then my wife goes, well, why don't you just look on Amazon, see if they have the DVD for sale? And ultimately found it, you know, on eBay or Amazon, wherever it was, but got it. So, I mean, not everything out there is even available for download.
Well, it's not even necessarily available for buying.
I mean, streaming, yeah.
No, buying. Like maybe you can't find the DVD or a Blu-ray,
Right.
you know, or oh, here's the DVD and it's $300. Why is a DVD $300? You know,
I have the exact same feeling towards a movie, and this is a 100% real legit movie. It's an American movie, so don't even say anything. It's from your country.
I don't claim it.
It's called The Mating Habits of the Earthbound Human. It's a comedy. It's narrated by David Hyde Pierce. It's the funniest fucking thing.
Clearly,
world.
No. I'm just
Funniest fucking movie. But I swear you can't get it anywhere. You could last I heard, you could for a time get it from Amazon or through Amazon to like stream or something or other. But when I last checked, I couldn't find it again. So,
well, and Amazon actually, I will admit, I like the Amazon ecosystem. It's pretty easy, but I will admit they are just as shady. I heard one year, so around Christmas, what does everybody do? They watch Christmas movies. Okay, right. Some people had bought Mickey's Christmas Carol on Amazon. Well, Amazon, either they or Disney or, you know, but somebody made the decision, nope, this is not available to watch on streaming on Amazon. It's like, wait, we purchased this on Amazon.
yeah, that would be the House of Mouse.
Yeah, it's not even that the service went away. Nope, just this title removed.
Disney wants
That's
your
not
money.
right.
It's just to Brian's point about like it's the company that pushes people to piracy. People wouldn't pirate things if they could just, you know, like, because people will even pay money, you know, because I think people think it's about the money, but it's kind of really not. I mean, if you're like, all right, especially for digital stuff, you can sell digital stuff for really cheap, right? Or ought to be able to sell it for really cheap. So it's like, you know, I can buy this movie for like $8 or something like that, or I can pay $8 for 1 month of insert service here, watch these couple of movies, and I might stick around, I might not, but whatever. But people will do it legit if you make it easy, if you make it available, if you make it reasonably affordable. They'll still pay money, but when you do crap like what we've been discussing here, that's when they get people like, screw this, screw those. You know, it's like a vengeance thing. People pirate when they're particularly mad at a company or entity.
Well, that's what yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
No. Sometimes it's just easier.
Well,
Yeah,
that's what I mean, that all falls into it, though. Ease of access.
Yeah, like, well, when Netflix was the only streaming, my understanding is that BitTorrent basically stopped. I mean, obviously it wouldn't stop completely, but if, for all intents and purposes, stopped. Because
What started?
when Netflix was the only streaming service,
Oh. Not in
basically,
Australia.
like my understanding is that piracy essentially was dead. Because it's like, oh, $10? Oh, I can get... No, not that it was, that it essentially was, because it was so cheap and there was so much stuff
It eliminated
available.
quite a bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably in your country, but when Australians started looking at Netflix, we still only have about 10 to 15% of the titles that you guys have.
My understanding of every other country is that they usually end up having more, because what ends up happening here, no, because we have Disney Plus, we have Amazon, we have Peacock, we have Tubi, we have,
Hulu.
Hulu, we have like
Discovery Plus.
There's
HBO.
every single company is like, oh, we're gonna make a streaming service. So they started pulling it off. That's why when you see like the VPN ads on YouTube, they're like, oh, you can watch shows that you can't get in your country because, it's on UK Netflix, but it's not on US Netflix.
See, we have kind of the opposite here, where Peacock and Hulu and all that, their distribution rights here in Australia is with the mouse.
Sure. But again, we have Peacock.
Because Peacock failed.
And Amazon and all of those others. But yours just like, man, we're going to wrap it all up. So you've got Disney Plus and Netflix. Oh, you've got two. I think I'm paying for like 5.
I'm looking. Yeah, we are too. So I'm looking at a comparison of Netflix titles that are available worldwide. This is as of July of last year, though.
Mm-hmm.
But Slovakia has 8,525 titles available, and they're the number one with Netflix. This doesn't even have it. It lists 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 20 different countries, with France being the last country with 7,558 titles. So France has 500 fewer titles than Slovakia does. In this, Australia is not even listed. United States is not listed. So that means that we have even less titles than France.
Last I checked last year, we only had 2,000 and about 2,200 titles on Netflix.
But kind of to what Brian was saying, though, when you have all of these other companies trying to be exclusive to themselves, because you saw something similar happen with Steam. Even though Steam is still the largest, at one point in time, it was kind of the only digital store. And more importantly, the only launcher. And then, because I remember that, and then fast forward, and now EA has a store in the launcher, and Blizzard has a store in the launcher, and Steam has a store in the launcher, and Epic has a store in the launcher, and insert here, and
GOG,
you get
Epic.
Yeah, you just get to a point, and I think GOG is a tiny bit different because their whole shtick is like, I can go buy Diablo 1 on GOG. You can't do that on Steam, right? Or even really Blizzard. I mean, I guess you kind of can now, but they didn't at the time.
And Diablo is part of their restoration program, so they're keeping that title updated to run on modern systems.
Yeah, but point being is that once you started seeing the other companies throw their hat into the streaming or digital store ring, all of a sudden they were the only place you could go to get that title. and so it started splitting up. I did a little experiment starting last paycheck. I went through and I canceled absolutely every subscription I have, period. Like if it was any kind of monthly anything, I canceled it. Of sans like my cell phone. But I cancel, and I didn't have that many. I actually only saved about $31 because I had done this last year, where I had already been cleaning that particular part of my finances. But yeah, it's like it's so ridiculous now how many. That's frustrating how many there are.
Okay, so United States, this is Netflix titles available, has total titles available on Netflix. This is evidently current information, so up to today. United States has 5,879 total titles available. Australia has 5,349 titles, so that's about a 500 title difference. Interestingly, Breaking Bad is not available on Netflix in Australia, but it is in the Americas, Russia, and most of Europe. Doctor Who is not available on Netflix anywhere except for in the United Kingdom and Ireland.
But they have their own streaming service. The BBC has its own streaming service now, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
Yeah, so they moved Doctor Who there.
Right. Forrest Gump is not available on Netflix anywhere except for India, Egypt, and France.
Oh, and actually, I think Doctor Who is on Disney Plus.
Yeah, it is here in the United States, yeah.
Mm.
Friends is not available in the United States or Australia, but it is in Canada, South America, Spain, Finland, and Russia. Japan.
Right, but Friends will be on Max here in the US.
Right. That's what I'm saying is in all these other countries. So like Pulp Fiction is available in Canada, South America, Norway, Denmark, Spain, but it is not available in the United States, Russia, or India or Australia.
Imagine if there was a lot. Well, and actually, you know what? There kind of is the same sort of lockdown on RPGs. Like, I mean, yes, you can buy them everywhere, but it's like, just in English.
Yes.
So,
or the people who mark their prices to being more tailored for an international audience and screw over their home base. Can't imagine who I'm referring to. Not that I would buy their RPG anyway, or their freaking setting game, whatever.
I don't think I know who you're talking about. I think I'm supposed to, but I don't think I do.
We talked about it, but it's okay. I'm just still bitchy.
You? That's weird.
I had a terrible day today.
Oh.
And my mum's oldest brother died.
Oh. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I'm down a mother, godmother, and 2 uncles. And I've got four left. And then my mum's family's dead.
I have all my aunts and uncles, but I only had 2 of each.
I only have 1 uncle.
Like total across both parents?
I mean, that I know of.
That's fair.
I only have 1 uncle, 1 grandma and grandpa, sister, mom's husband, and one aunt and 1 uncle, and that's it. That's my entire extended family. I mean, on the plus side, my family's small, so like I don't have to keep track of a lot of people.
And there's me trying to keep track of my 1,000 family members. Just on my mum's side. Dear.
Yeah, my dad's side of the family's basically non-existent to me and my sister.
Well, I would have had to know my cunt to, know his family, but
I knew a
know
guy
some of the
named Mike
basics.
Hunt before.
It's not gonna work.
Dear. So we've gone way off the topic here. Do we want to change to something else or what?
Yeah, I mean, we were on that topic for quite some time. It was interesting. Talking about technology and stuff.
Well, it was about technology. We kind of veered away from the hobby.
Well,
stuff.
I mean, we wouldn't be talking Drek if we stayed on topic. I mean, we got to keep up the audience expectations, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think even getting sidetracked, I think it's still relevant to the topic and to the discussion because it is a very it's broad in its applications, and just because we're talking about a small industry comparably, the technology all filters down. There's the there's Roll20. Okay, what if that service shuts down? There's I don't see drive-through shutting down.
Unless WotC buys them out. And that was, to the point that you brought up earlier is, well, what happens if Wizards all of a sudden decides that D&D is, again, under monetized, and so they start shopping it around? Or what happens if Elon Musk decides, you know what, screw it, I bought X, I'm going to buy TikTok, next I'm going to buy Wizards of the Coast from Hasbro. And through licensing or whatever, Drive-Thru RPG has to get shut down.
Right, but at least in that case, we have the option to download the PDFs. It'll be annoying to lose the service.
Well, yeah.
But, yeah.
Well, and in a case like Drive-Thru RPG, would it really shut down, or would they just pull, Wizards books off there?
They
know
probably.
what I mean?
If it breaks down to licensing issues, they'd likely just pull the WotC stuff off of it.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, downloaded PDFs.
Yeah.
See, in a perfect world, I could buy a book or a PDF, or I could buy a combo pack that has a physical book and a PDF, and then I could have the book, and then it can look shiny and pretty on my shelves. Because I have books and they look shiny and pretty on my shelves. But then I could have a PDF for actually using at the table.
Oh man, wouldn't it be great if there was a company that did that?
There are companies. It's actually a service called Bits and Mortar. Not all companies do it, but if you buy the physical copy from your friendly local game store, send them a copy of the receipt, they'll send you a PDF.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know about that. Of course, the physical book hasn't been released yet.
Is that only in your country?
I don't think so. I think it's just if you buy the physical book, show your receipt, they'll send you a PDF. But again, not everybody signs up for it. Not everybody's a participant. So, and then on top of that, there's a lot of manual work to it. It's not like a DVD where it's like, oh, I have a code and do. Which, fun fact, that's why you see Warhammer books come shrink wrap now. Because they all have a code printed in the back, so you can put it in the app and get the digital information.
Now, I would not be
Speaking of a
opposed to
company that
that.
wants to monetize.
What, Seraphis?
I said, speaking of a company that wants to over monetize.
That's a separate issue.
Yeah.
They're still providing a quote. It's not this. You're not getting like a digital copy of the book. It's like, oh, here's our app, and it'll also unlock the content on the app. But
The rules content on the app, though.
right, the rules content that you need to play the game. But yeah, I am with Brian. I like that they do it. It's a little annoying, that you can't browse through the book before buying it, but is what it is.
Yeah, I don't like to buy blind. I'm not a fan of that either.
Yeah, if only there was like YouTube channels that would like review books and tell you about the content inside them first, so that you could,
Look, that's
get
a
an
lot of
understanding
work.
of what you. Yeah.
All right, where was I?
Somewhere in South Dakota.
No. Although, that one place that we like to visit is in South Dakota. What's it called? Oh, like Wall Street or Wall Market or something like that. That's a fun place. Not Wall Street. I think it's like a crap. I'm gonna have to look it up now. I don't know anymore.
Is it like a big store where like you can
No,
get
no, 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 no.
groceries and electronics and some
It's
furniture?
It's like it was started a long time ago. A guy it basically is like a whole row. It like looks like an old Western video where it's like shop next to shop next to shop next to shop, and they're all done up it with storefronts, kind of like you see in like old Westerns. And they've turned it into kind of like a gift shop / museum / diner. It's got like a really famous restaurant there. If I could find my phone, my phone's right here. If I could find my phone, I could try and see if I can look up the pictures that we took while we were there, and then I can get the name of it.
I'll be honest, I don't have a clue what you're talking about, Tori.
Yeah, but as soon as I find it, I'm gonna. All right, entertain yourselves for a minute while I look through all these pictures.
Calm down, Snowmancer.
Okay, there we go. There's the start of the trip. That's it. That's Target. We went to Target. It was fun.
That's not the kind of coming we do here.
But I will say there is a lot of cool technology. At this point I am kind of wondering if the Wizards VTT is ever going to get off the ground.
I'm sure it will. I mean, we keep seeing sneak peeks of it, and I mean, honestly, it looks really good. And I think this is one. Not to be a cheerleader for WotC. I mean, I do.
We know you shill. It's fine.
Present the product, but you guys all know I have very specific opinions about some of this product too. But with the VTT, I kind of have a feeling that I really feel like they're trying to perfect it before they really push it out. Like they're not trying to rush it out. I think they're trying to make it as solid of a program as possible. That said, I'll still never touch it.
I think if it does get pushed out in a buggy state, like an overtly buggy state, it will be 100% because they're abandoning it.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I just don't really trust them on it because they failed at it so many times.
Yeah.
And third edition?
They were making digital tools as far back as second edition.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, and they had that disc man, that was just an awesome disc. It had a built-in world builder. It had up to that point every book in the D&D library, and it was like $60. Now this was back in the mid to late 90s, but I mean, I still have my copy of it. Of course, I just don't have a computer that can run it anymore. Not
I
even
was gonna say, who
emulating.
has a CD-ROM anymore?
Yeah.
I do.
Well, I do. I mean, I've got an external that I can plug in, but the current version of Windows just you can't install it. It doesn't work.
It's for pirating.
I've even attempted. No, seriously, I have even attempted to try to get a gooched version of it, and I still can't even get that to run properly. Because I mean, I absolutely loved the world building mapping on that. I mean, it was so cool. It almost makes me want to try to just buy like or repurpose one of my older towers and try to install, like, what would happen. Okay, talk about technology here for a second.
Yep.
I found it.
Older technology. Would it be possible to install, if I have the Windows Windows NT disk, is it possible to install that onto a computer? Or, I mean, I've got the key code for it, so technically it shouldn't have to even go to the internet for verification.
I'm just not sure the hardware is compatible anymore.
Well, but that's what I'm saying is, if I go on eBay and buy all the hardware, for a tower that existed, say back in 1998.
I found it so I could show you guys pictures, by the way.
Yes.
All right. How do I hit the button?
Typically, that's how it works.
Screen share easiest with the okay.
But yeah, I don't know if that would work, Brian.
I don't either. I just don't know enough technology.
I mean, wall drug.
So that's what it's called. That's a little bit what it looks like. So that's what I meant when I said there was all the different storefronts, and then there's like a little bit of this on the other side. And then they have all kinds of stuff. Like you go inside and there's all these little shops, and there's just like a ton of stuff everywhere.
So it's sort of like a consignment mall.
I guess it's a little bit. They have one wall that's entirely historical pictures because it's been around for a while. There's like a zoomed out version, and they have like a whole, like, I think this is all enclosed. But then there's like a courtyard kind of garden type area. But it's really fun. And then they have like a cafe there that's really yummy food. I liked the cafe. And they have bookstores, they have clothing stores, they have all kinds of stuff. It's a lot of fun.
I've seen places like that before.
Yeah. Not a whole lot here where I live, so it was really interesting to me. Most of the pictures seem to be the jackalope up front, apparently.
I mean, who doesn't want a picture of a jackalope?
Yeah. Yeah, so there's like the parking up here, and then there's like the shops and all the insides, and then there's like an open area with all kinds of stuff. It's a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
We've got a lot of stuff like that here in our area.
Really?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's all like secondhand stuff, and some of it's new, but for the most part, yeah, it's like what Brian was saying. It's like consignment shops and stores.
See, and I don't even know what that means. I've never heard that term. I don't know what a consignment shop is.
It's okay. So take like the size of your average Walmart, right?
Mm-hmm.
But and it's the whole building is owned by one person. But then Seraphis will rent out a 100 square foot area or a 200 square foot area and put all of his anime shit in there. Brian will rent out a 200 square foot area and put all of his miniatures in there. You'll rent out a 200 square foot area and put all of your knitting stuff in there. I'll rent out a 100 square foot area and just stand there like an idiot. And you just, you do that until the whole area is filled up. And so you potentially are renting out, 60, 80, 100 different booths to different people that have all of their shit in there. And, some of it is really cool stuff. Others is like junk, that you would find in your garage or something.
Okay.
But that's what a consignment is. So when Serapha sells something, he gets, and different stores will do different rates, but he may get like 80% of the sale, and the owner of the building gets 20% plus whatever the rent is for that month.
Yeah, so
that makes
we went
sense.
when we were in Alabama. Well, so first off, we went to this place. Like Kim's like, I want a milkshake. So we went to this place, and it was like this old stove factory that had been repurposed, and we're shopping around, and this girl's like, oh, if you're ever in this area, because we're just talking, oh, we're new here and blah blah blah. She's like, oh, you should go check out this shop, and they did something, exactly like milkshake bits. But yeah, so like I went in and we're just looking around, and I found a copy of RuneQuest 2nd edition.
Yeah.
Box and all. And I think it was like $20-$30 or whatever. So there's just a little price tag on it. So there's only one register, and it's like the lady that owns the building or whatever that she's. So she'll like you can charge whatever you want for the stuff, but like Brian said, you've got to pay for your 100 square feet, but then you don't have to actually own a building. You don't have to take out insurance on the building.
Right.
All that kind of stuff.
It's a pretty cool practice. I think one of the coolest items that I ever found. So me and my son, we go out every Sunday and we go just, hit these. Like I said, we've got a lot of these resale shops all over the place. And one day we're out there.
I knew he was going to do that.
I don't like that. I wanted to hear the rest of the story.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going ahead and I'm taking my setup down a little bit. I'll just sit here and be an avatar with you guys until because we're already 140 in, so. Oh my goodness.
Well,
I need to figure out a way to do Stitch Cam that doesn't shake so goddamn much.
I'm actually kind of nervous about my new setup. It is so like my old setup was just a whole bunch of 2x4s screwed together. So it weighs a lot. It was very stable. This new desk is hollow metal tubes screwed together.
Yeah, that's kind of what my desk is.
It is not as stable.
My desk is one of the it's a flexi spot electric like standing desk. Okay. So it's like it's literally like 2 T-shaped hollow metal bars and a slab of wood on top.
Yep.
With like veneer to make it look pretty. That's it. That's all it is. I mean, it's surprisingly lightweight, and I appreciate that because for a standing desk, it's great and it was affordable. But for stability, I mean, I just bump it and it wobbles. And then when you're working with a camera that's like zoomed in at 2-3x zoom because of the stitching, the tiniest breath just makes it wobble like inches. You know what I mean? Everything's magnified.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, anyways, technology, it's crazy.
Useful. Crazy useful. Right? Huh?
Sure. We'll go with that.
Yeah. I mean, we wouldn't have this podcast without technology.
No, that's true. And there are a lot of good there are a lot of good reasons, or a lot of good things to come out of it. But yeah, sometimes it's just, wondering about,
It's almost like whenever like corporate capitalism gets involved, it ruins the thing.
Yeah,
Look,
I
dirty,
just
dirty
not
space pirate.
It's funny because my current D&D setup involves printing and paper. Like when I'm at the table, the only thing I use my tablet for is looking up stuff in a PDF and playing music.
Yeah.
Everything else is paper.
No, and I think even with the advance of all the technologies, I think we still should be pushing for some of the more classic ways of doing it.
Yeah.
Like I think if the hobby lost that table aspect for most players, because like us weirdos, we're a niche of the entire hobby. I can tell you from the years that I've been at Gen Con, and I don't know how much they do it anymore. But like they would rent
those
out.
of us not from Gen Con space.
Look, those of us who live in the real world get to go to fun things. But
That's
like
where you play with Monty Cook, isn't it?
no, actually, that was at ReaperCon, which was super tiny at the time. Well, let me rephrase that. It was tiny in that it was held in the warehouse. Anyways, that was good stuff. But
That's
Paizo
Reaper Minis though, isn't it?
Reaper miniatures, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, they're good.
Yeah. Well, kind of wonder, but when I met him, I got to meet the owner. He was great, and then he died. Like 1 or 2 years, like 22 maybe, and I hadn't gotten to see him since like 2019. Super super nice guy. Doubt there's anyone at Reaper that even remembers me, but whatever. But at Gen Con, Paizo would literally rent out a ballroom in the convention center. Not like a conference room. No. Ballroom. This is as big as this room is going to get. And it was packed with players. Like 100 tables, 6 to 8 people at each table, all convention long. Okay. I think losing that aspect of the hobby would be a disaster for it.
Probably.
Yeah.
At least in your country.
No, in general, because as fun as I think being able to meet up with people like this is, I don't think it's necessarily the same as sitting around a table with your friends.
Oh yeah. No.
But it's also handy because, like I said, I wouldn't have, because of my local area, there's a lot that I wouldn't have if I didn't have online games, to be honest.
Yeah, some of us don't have friends. So,
Or at least have tiny children that get in the way.
I'm the one without friends, by the way. So
I mean, I also don't have very many. Like, my one friend texted me yesterday, and she's like, "We're gonna be rehoming our guinea pigs. Ask around, see if anybody wants them." And I'm like, you are my friend. Like, you are the person I'd be asking around to.
No. What you do is you take them, and then you can have a South American delicacy. You think I'm kidding?
No, I know you're not. I just don't think she'd appreciate that.
You know what's funny? Guinea pigs don't exist in nature. They were specifically bred as a food source.
Huh. I mean, sorry, I'm half distracted because I'm updating my stitch counts.
No, that's
So,
fine.
in
Yeah,
the background, but
they
also, huh.
yeah, they I want to say it's in like Peru. Don't quote me on that though. But yeah, they'll just like keep like a little guinea pig hutch in the kitchen. Oh, time for dinner. Yoink. Well, think about it. They're rodents. They breed rather quickly, you know. So just keep them at home, keep them fed. You know, you'll get new ones.
Probably easier than chickens too.
I don't know. Chickens are really easy.
Quoting Brian in Peru. All right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm getting distracted. I've got like other stuff that I want to start cleaning up here. I'm getting overwhelmed by the mess on my desk, and it's distracting me. I'm gonna clean this mess on my desk.
We should bring it to an end anyway. So
that's true.
About that time. So I will see you guys later.
Okay. Bye, Tori.
Bye.
But you